Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Through My Eyes, A Life with MS. You are listening to Lauren Parrott on the MS&Me Radio Network. We are sponsored and powered by the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network 24/7 internationally. This show is going to be about the importance of sleep. Now, I got this idea for a radio show, after I had a horribly embarrassing experience. And it happened on Veterans Day. I work for a company, we're called the War Memorial, and we celebrate veterans, and it's wonderful. I have veterans in my family. I am so proud and so honored for those who have served our country, and I love that about my job. I absolutely love it. And every year I've worked there for several years, and every year on Veterans Day, we have a very special day where we offer a free breakfast for veterans, and we have like a beautiful ballroom. So it's in the ballroom. We always have a speaker, and we have music, and it's just a really nice event. And I look forward to it every year. So I was really excited about the event, but the night before the event, I couldn't fall asleep. And I knew I had to be at work at 6:30 a.m. because doors opened at 7 o'clock in the morning, and usually veterans get there at like 6 a.m. and they get there far before 7, and I know that. But, so I knew I had to be at work at 6:30, which is fine. You know, normally I get to work at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so, for a special event, no problem. I can get there at 6:30. Well, the night before I couldn't sleep, and and there's no reason why I couldn't sleep. It's not like I was nervous. I mean, I was a little worried that I was going to be a little bit late, but I've been working there for so long, even if I was an hour late, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. And but I never do that. Like, I knew that I was going to be there on time. I just couldn't sleep. And I tried everything. I tried counting sheep. I tried like slow breathing. I tried reading a book. I tried everything, and I could not fall asleep, and it was really upsetting. So eventually I fell asleep for maybe 2 or 3 hours, but when I woke up, I was exhausted. I was so tired, and luckily, it was really cold that day. Okay, so this year, Veterans Day, it's always November 11th, every year, November 11th. And this year, it was on a Saturday. So we had to celebrate Veterans Day on a Friday. And when I got into work, I told my coworkers, and by the way, I got there at 6:30, so I wasn't late. I was on time, but I was exhausted, and I told my coworkers, I said, you guys, I said, I am like running on low here. I only had a couple hours of sleep, and I don't know why, but I'm going to try my best. So it turned out fine. My job that morning was to greet the veterans when they came in the building. So all I had to do was say, like, good morning, happy Veterans Day, thank you for your service, which is what I would do anyways, whether it's Veterans Day or not. I'm always like that with people in general, like, oh, hey, welcome, come on in, or to veterans especially, thank you so much for your service, and I love what you've done, and so that was the easy part. The hard part was that my body wasn't functioning the way that it should be, the way that it's supposed to. And for anybody, not having enough sleep is really bad for your body. But for someone with multiple sclerosis, it's very detrimental to your well-being. And I looked on, wait, before I go into that, I have to tell you about this embarrassing story. So after I greeted everybody, everyone came into the ballroom and they had their breakfast, which was delicious, even though I didn't eat any because I'm not a veteran. But they had a really nice breakfast and pastries and stuff like that. And then it was time for the speaker. And I had been looking forward to hearing this speaker for weeks. I actually know this person, and he was talking about something that I really wanted to hear about. So I was really excited for his speech. And so I told my coworkers, I said, you guys, I really want to hear this speech. I said, but I'm going to have to sit down because my body can't really stand for that much longer. And they said, no, that's okay. They're like, grab a couple chairs. We'll sit with you. So my coworker Denise, she grabbed chairs there were like 5 of us, and we all sat down. Well, I was the first one to enter the ballroom, and thank God I was the first one, because even though all the veterans, the ballroom was full. There were over 200 people in the room, but I was in the very, very back. And I walked in and I went to sit down, and I totally fell. I didn't quite make the seat. And there's no explanation. Like, I don't know what happened. I wish I could have seen a video, or something, so I could understand what happened to me, because I just fell. It's like my knees buckled, and my legs were tired, and they're like, well, we're not really going to work for you right now. And so I fell, and I remember there was a young guy on my right, and there's an older gentleman on my left, and they right away reached out to help me. And I started laughing, and so they started laughing because I know why I fell. I fell because I was exhausted, and I fell because I have MS, but they didn't know that. I don't know them. They didn't know me, and so they just thought somebody fell on their chair. Felt like they couldn't sit down in the chair. So looking at it from their perspective, I thought it was hilarious, and I was just laughing and laughing and laughing, and so then they started laughing. So the 3 of us are laughing, but I threw my hands up and I said, okay, can you guys please help me stand up? So they helped me get on the chair, and I sat down, and I stayed there, and I was like, I am not moving an inch. So that was really embarrassing, but it was funny. I mean, I have to laugh at myself, because if I don't, I'll cry, and I don't want to cry. So that's my embarrassing story. But I wanted to learn more about how sleep affects people with MS, because we all know if you don't get enough sleep, it's really bad for your health. You don't function as well as you normally should if you don't get enough sleep because your body needs rest. That's very well known. But for people with MS, it's even more so. So I looked on the MS Society's website and I found this. It says quality of sleep is important to maintaining good health, but getting good sleep. Hang on one second. Okay, here we go. Sorry. I'm going to start over. My computer just freaked out on me. Okay, I'll start over from the MS Society's website. It says, quality of sleep is important to maintaining good health, but getting good sleep can be complicated. Lack of restful sleep can cause daytime sleepiness, and in MS have serious consequences for cognition, fatigue, mood swings, and physical symptoms such as balance, spasticity, and pain. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have pretty much all those symptoms. I have cognitive issues. I have fatigue. I don't have mood swings, although I do have pseudobulbar affect. So I do get I'm emotional, and I do have problems with my balance, and I have like mild spasticity and pain. So if I don't get enough sleep, all of those symptoms are going to be worse because my body didn't get enough rest. And I have had fatigue ever since my MS started. I was 16 years old when my MS started, and so I was in high school. And I remember I was in English class. I was a junior. And I was in my English class, and it was known to be the hottest room in the building because it was right above the kitchen. So it was always really hot. And I remember my teacher, who I liked, but he was reading a poem or reading something, a story or something. And I fell asleep in his classroom. And he kicked me out of the classroom. Now, I don't blame him. I mean, that's very disrespectful if somebody's doing it on purpose. But I didn't know I had MS at that time. So it was embarrassing, and I felt really bad. But I walked right down to our kitchen in my high school, and I grabbed some coffee. And I was only 16, so I was not a coffee drinker at that time, but I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed that I fell asleep in his class, and I apologized afterwards. I told him, I said, I'm so sorry. And then, after I found out I have MS, I went back to my high school and I explained that to him. And I said, I will not forget that because that was one of my first symptoms was fatigue. I told him I had MS, and I'm like, I would have never done that. And so it all, everything is fine, but it was embarrassing for me at that day. So for a long time, I didn't want to take any other medications that could help me with my symptoms, partially because I can be kind of stubborn, and also because I was scared. I was scared of what medications would do to me. So I didn't until I got a job. And I got my first job when I was, I want to say like 23. And I told my neurologist, I said, I fell asleep at my job, and I don't want to get fired. I like my job. I don't want to get fired, but I can't control my fatigue. And he told me, he said, well, there's medication that you can take that can help with your fatigue. And I said, okay, so that is what was the turning point for me, was when my work was affected by a symptom. So that's when I started taking a medication for fatigue. And now I am so happy and so grateful that there are medications that can help us with our symptoms. So I started taking this medication, and it has been wonderful. And I'm still taking it, and it's absolutely fabulous. And I don't have trouble sleeping from that pill, because I take it early in the morning. After I shower and stuff, I have coffee and I take my pills, and then I'm good for the day. And it doesn't really start affecting me. The sleepiness doesn't really affect me that much until I go to bed. I'm like fine during the day. Luckily, I'm able to stay awake during the day. But then I lay down and I start thinking. And I think a lot. And I actually have come up with like great ideas when I'm in bed. I think of like incredible ideas when about ready to fall asleep. So it's like a catch-22, It's like I'm really happy that I come up with these really great ideas, but I'm like upset that I can't go to sleep, because I know that my body needs rest. So it can be very difficult. Something that makes it harder is that I don't want to forget my ideas. And so a lot of times I will like turn the light on, turn on my nightstand, and I'm like, I have to write this down, because if I don't write it down, I'll probably forget. So I'll turn the light on, and that makes it worse. But the absolute worst thing for me is when I turn my phone on. Now, my phone is my alarm, and I charge my phone at night. So I'm talking about my cell phone. So if I turn on my cell phone, you know how super bright that light is, and that is just like, it's terrible, because it'll keep me awake even longer, because the light is so bright, and it's really hard for me to fall back asleep. But eventually I do, but it's difficult, and then I kind of struggle the next day, and it's really hard. But I'm going to talk to you about a video that I made a couple years ago. This is random. It's so random, but I want to tell you because it makes sense in this broadcast. So I love the Olympics. I love watching the Olympics so much, and I always have, like from when I started watching as a little kid up until now. Like, the Olympics are starting in February, and I am so excited. I can't wait. But the last time the Olympics were on, I refused to go to bed before I saw who won the races. So I would wait up till like 12:30, and or sometimes even 1 o'clock in the morning to see who won the race. And I would be so tired the next day, and it was really, really bad. It was really difficult, because I would be at work, but I would be so drowsy, and I would be so tired. And like I said, I took the medication that does help with my fatigue, but what the medication does is it helps me not sleep. So it'll keep me awake, but it doesn't really help with my drowsiness. So it was really difficult because I wanted to watch. This is when Michael Phelps was swimming. And so, of course, I really wanted to watch him because I knew he was going to win pretty much everything. And he did. And it was awesome. And I loved it. But I suffered the next day. It was really hard. But to me, it was worth it because I love the Olympics. But, and I also... So what I did, I'm like, okay, the next time the Olympics are on, I have to make a promise to myself that I won't stay up to watch who wins the races. I'll just find out the next morning. And so I'm keeping my word on that. I'm not going to say that I'm actually going to, I'm going to try. Let me say that. I'm going to try to wait until the next day to find out who won the race. I'm going to try really hard. It'll be difficult, but I'm going to try because I know how important sleep is. And I don't know if you can hear my voice right now, but I'm tired right now. Like I normally, when I come home from work, I take a nap with my dogs because I'm fine throughout the day. And when I'm working, you know how it is, like when you're busy doing something, your mind, you can't even think about being tired because you're busy working. Well, when I come home, I am so ready for a nap. And I take a nap with my dogs every day. And usually it's just for like a half hour or something. But I didn't do that today. And I'm really tired, and I don't know if you can hear my voice, but I'm kind of struggling a little bit. And I've noticed that too because I'm a public speaker, and I've noticed that if I'm tired or if I have spoken too much that day, my vocal cords, like they get tired too. They're fatigued, and it's I don't know what I sound like, but I know what I feel like, and I feel like my voice isn't as strong as it should be. But I have to tell you, yesterday I had this idea for a show, and I tried recording this show. I think it was 3 times, definitely 2 times, and in the middle of my video, my alarm went off because I set alarms for myself, like don't forget to do this and don't forget to do that. So my alarm went off in the middle of my broadcast, and I was so upset. And so after speaking, for 27 minutes, and like I was almost done with the show. Seriously, I had like 2 minutes to go, and the alarm went off, and I was like, "Oh no!" I was really upset. So I stopped, and I tried doing it again, which is bad because it just made my voice and my vocal cords more fatigued. So I said, "Okay, forget it. I'll just do the broadcast tomorrow." So I'm doing it now, but I still feel like my voice is fatigued. I feel like my vocal cords are tired. And I think it's because I didn't take a nap with my dogs. I think my body is tired. So what is the solution? How do I get in the habit of, getting better sleep? Well, there are a couple things. First, I think I have to go to bed earlier, I should say. I'm kind of a night owl, and my whole family is. We're all kind of night owls, but I'm also a morning person. I'm like, I get up early, and I'm like wide awake in the morning, and I'm like very, I'm very active, and I'm very functional in the morning, but I'm not a night owl, so I don't really go to bed early. That's just kind of how my body is. I don't know, my my family is like that. We're all like that. So it's kind of difficult. So I can try to go to bed earlier, but I'm probably not going to fall asleep until I normally do, which is around like midnight. And trust me, I have tried this before. I have tried going to bed earlier, and even if I'm in bed, I lay there. Like, I'll try to go to bed at 9 or 10 or 11 even, and I just lay there, and my body finally falls asleep at like 12:30 or 12 o'clock, midnight. I'm not sure why. That's just how my body works. So I can try to go to bed earlier. That's the first thing. The second thing, I can try to take something like a Tylenol PM. That helps and does help me. Or melatonin. Melatonin is a good supplement. It's more natural. And I actually tried taking that last night. And it did help me. I had the box. And I was going to read to you all what it says on the box, and I don't have the box with me right now. But melatonin is a really good, a good way to help your body relax and fall asleep. But I will say that it didn't work for me as well as Tylenol PM did. So it's kind of difficult because I think melatonin is naturally better for me, but Tylenol PM is more effective. So it's kind of difficult. It's one of those things that I'm going to have to, maybe my body is just used to taking Tylenol PM, and I had just have to try to take melatonin more often, and maybe it will become more effective. I'm not sure, but that's just something else that I can try. And I just know that watching things on my phone or reading things on my phone are terrible before I go to bed. That is like the worst thing to do. And I don't know if I'm sure you guys can hear it because some of you might have this too. I'm tired right now, and my body is so tired, and my vocal cords are exhausted, and I'm sure I sound like it. So I'm actually kind of glad that that you can hear that I'm tired, because that's the whole point of the video or this broadcast. So I am going to attempt to go to bed earlier a little bit. I'll try. And I'm going to try to get my body used to melatonin, because it is a natural supplement that helps your body rest, because sleep is important. Sleep is very important. Okay, I hope this was helpful, everyone. I will talk to you next time. Okay, take care. Bye.